Okay.
I,
Nisi, as the youngest guy in the group, no? Sa tingin mo, anong bawi ni Manny dito? What's the redemption for Manny Pacquiao? Anong susunod na dapat niyang gawin? Both as a boxing fan and as an analyst.
for sure, he has nothing more to prove. But if I will have it my way, sana maka at least one more fight to send him off. Pero let's go back. I don't think Manny Pacquiao is old as people say. With all due respect, and I agree. I agree with Sir Dennis. He had a good first round, to be honest, and he landed. Let's take note. He landed a good left in the same round, wherein Ugas even acknowledged it by smiling, by giving a good smile on Manny Pacquiao. So totoo yun eh. So it's the style that counteracted Manny Pacquiao's, pesky style, that devil may care style of Manny Pacquiao. Na, alam mo yan, the right hand of Ugas wasn't able to stagger Manny. Eh. He made a great effort, at least by changing the complexion of the fight, but by inviting Ugas. There were concerns like staying flat-footed instead of bouncing in and out. But for a 42-year-old boxer to have that kind of work rate in the ring, it's still impressive. Eh. It still attests that Manny Pacquiao is still in the top 10 of his division. For me, it's just for me.
Okay, Ryan, looking at the big picture now, you've seen, again, all these boxers can never say no, can't say goodbye, can't back away from the game. Given the fact that beyond Lucas Matisse, 3 years ago, the last time Manny Pacquiao knocked somebody out was Miguel Cotto, 2009. And given that he's, like you said, older, slower, more difficult to execute, what is next? What should he do next?
Manny has said in the past that he wanted to have one last fight in the Philippines. I think that would be something appealing to him. I think that that's something that would be great for the fans, to sort of give him a nice send-off. I don't know what the pandemic situation is going to look like next year, but I would like to see him take a rest, and then if the circumstances allow, let him have one last big fight against a manageable opponent, someone that he can do like what he did with Lucas Matisse at the Philippine Arena. I think that would be a great send-off for him, because Manny Pacquiao deserves it. And it might be actually a little bit weird because he's always taken on these big fights. Like he was supposed to fight Errol Spence, and then on short notice, he switches to a completely different fighter and goes out and boxes against Yordenis Ugas. It would almost be strange if he didn't fight like a complete juggernaut opponent, with some devil may care attitude to go out. One last desperado kind of, move. But I think that would be nice for Manny. And, there's never going to be another Manny Pacquiao. Like that's the thing that we really need to keep in mind. So, let the good times roll. Let Manny Pacquiao go out one last time. I think that would be great. He's got nothing left to prove. I mean, what he's done in his career, no one's ever going to do it again. So, and unless there's like some kind of, cyborg boxers that come out, I don't know.
I like that. One last fight here in the Philippines, Yordenis Ugas. Very marketable. He can beat Ugas in a rematch.
Attorney Ed, what do you think?
I think that sounds good.
Well, he is planning to seek a higher post sa elections next year. So a farewell fight could easily be tied to that campaign to a higher post. Can you imagine all the PR that a fight will generate? Kandidato ako, pagkatapos lalaban ako, hindi ba? Hindi ako kailangan mag house to house eh. Manood na lang sila sa bahay nila ng labang ko. So magandang anggulo 'yon, but this has been the story of Manny Pacquiao eh. Serving too many masters at the same time. Politiko, boxing. In fact, ito nga yung regret ko eh. Imagine what he accomplished, 8 world titles. Imagine had he concentrated solely on boxing. Wala yung mga politika na yan. Sana ngayon lang niya simulan kung kailan patapos na yung career niya. all those distractions, and yet he still won 8 world titles. Di ba? Pero nakita mo, maraming distraction. Pero this is the reality, you know. He was able to get away with it, set up many records, at mukhang ganito pa rin magtatapos. Tied up pa rin to a political career na tinatarget niya. So for me, well, he will fight again only because it's tied up to his political plans. So may ano yun, may caveat para sa akin. It's not about really fitting farewell to a boxing king. It's also tied up to his political
Ambition.
plans.
All right, let's let Nisi weigh in on the discussion. Fight here in the Philippines. I think we're all in agreement that that would be a great idea. Who would you want him to fight in a farewell, farewell tour, so to speak?
If he decides to fight again, at least to give him a proper send-off. The two possible opponents that I have in mind for Manny Pacquiao is, number one, Robert Guerrero, and the second is Abel Ramos. Those two boxers won't be like Ryan said, manageable opponents. Won't be a nightmare for him stylistically. And yes, he deserves to have that kind of exit. Countless fighters have tried to end their careers on a high note, but most of them failed miserably. And only a few managed to execute a storybook endings to their careers. And I hope Manny can accomplish that kind of exit with or without a title.
Go ahead. Your thoughts?
Well, I will go against the grain here, but I will agree that he should have another fight. But if he does have another fight, I think the political ambition should be put aside for now to really just concentrate on that
Cannot
last
be.
fight. On that last fight. But see, that's
I
it,
agree with
Dennis.
Attorney Ed.
No, but that's it. If kung lalaban ka at ang pakay mo ay lalaban ka dahil gagamitin mo sa politika, mahirap talaga yun. We are all already in agreement that at 42, medyo may kinks in the armor na. Nakita niyo yung kinks in the armor, di ba? So, lalaban ka dahil kailangan mo para sa politika, medyo mahirap yun.
They will not
Gagawin mo
admit
talaga
it.
yun,
They will not
gagawin mo
admit it.
talaga yun, if really gonna do that, then you have to concentrate on just fighting, training for the fight, and not campaigning. Because if you do it simultaneously, well, sorry, my friend, the results might not turn out to be the answer to both of your ambitions.
All
From
right,
your swan song
for
and
me-
to your political career.
For me, the opponent and the result of the fight will not matter. Why? Because this will be one of those, do you remember where you were when that happened kind of event. Okay? Fight Floyd Mayweather again. Fight Juan Manuel Marquez again. Right? Because the result won't matter. What is important is we are given a chance to properly thank him for all the good memories and to be able to say goodbye, in a proper fashion, the way legends deserve it. Because, in basketball, you have a farewell tour. You get to play all the other teams again before you retire. But in this case, it doesn't happen. So, with all due respect to Manny Pacquiao, our first Eastern Communications fearless fighter is Yordenis Ugas for the magnificent job that he did today. Boyet is working on a story about replacement fighters who have beaten the odds and come out as world champions. Okay, now my next question is, what is next for Pacquiao in terms of the big picture, in terms of boxing? Obviously he has MP promotions and all of this. Attorney Ed, the business side of boxing will definitely continue for Manny Pacquiao, but how big a part of his life will that still be?
Well, he has been quite active, conducting the baton for MP promotions. He will be given enough time to concentrate on this. He has some good fighters under MP promotions, but I don't know. He really has a lot of pondering to do because, with Manny Pacquiao, he wants to do so many things at the same time, so many things on his plate, and can't figure out how to isolate this, do it one at a time. He wants to do it all at the same time. So that has been the problem, but I don't know. For me, there's a lot. a lot of things to consider. A lot of things to consider. What should be done next? He's getting up in years. It's time to, pick what you really want to do. You can't keep doing everything at the same time. Mamili ka na talaga kung anong in the long run. Ito na talaga ang gagawin ko. Dito na ako patungo. Kasi parang wala pa rin direksyon hanggang ngayon eh. Hindi mo pa rin malaman. Are you really retiring? Are you running for a political post? What is really next for Manny Pacquiao? So many things, magulo pa rin eh, blurry pa rin yung picture para sa akin. We thought na meron ng definite conclusion with the loss to Ugas, pero eto nga lumilitaw sa atin parang hindi pa rin eh, hindi ba? Pero tatakbo pa rin siya. Sabi niya he will make the announcement next month. Kung ano ang kanyang magiging political plans, marami pa din eh, marami pa rin siyang gustong gawin eh. Pero dapat i-narrow down mo na yung mga gagawin mo. It's time to narrow it down. Time to narrow it down. Kasi wind up ka na eh. Hindi pwedeng chaotic pa rin eh. Time to ano yung priorities mo? What do you want to do? Do you want to handle boxers? Do you want a political career? Ano ba talaga? Time to narrow down the list.
All right. To wrap up this discussion, Ryan, his business interests in the US, obviously, if he retires from boxing, if he aspires for a higher office, he's going to have to delegate, and will his business interests in the US flourish because he's no longer involved, or will they suffer because his name isn't really the horse pulling the cart, so to speak?
Well, the thing is that he has a partnership deal with PBC, Premier Boxing Champions, and they have been putting the MP promotion fighters on the airwaves and on the undercards, and if the partnership can continue with them, that would be great for the Filipino boxers, because this is not just Manny's friends here on the card. These are really good fighters. We're talking about Yamir Marshall. We saw Mark Magsayo last night. Jerwin Ancajas. These are really good fighters.
Solid lineup.
It's a very solid lineup. And what I think is the most solid of all of that is that you have Sean Gibbons, who is running the show. And Sean Gibbons has a great relationship with a lot of different promoters, particularly the people behind PBC. And Manny wouldn't have to really focus and be a part of the day-to-day stuff as long as Sean Gibbons is running that show. So I think that can really continue. I think that this is not a vanity project. This isn't, how sometimes we used to look at even Floyd Mayweather's fighters back in the day, when his stable started, it was his friends, the guys in his gym, and he was given the opportunity on those cards. These are the best fighters that the Philippines has, really, So yeah, no, I think that will be something that can continue, because that's a quality stable.